Hello everyone, it's Amy, and I am just here to show you how I made these nail polish lacquer hearts. And I had a project I was working on, and I had put one of these flowers on there, which are also the fingernail polish flowers that I learned from Secret Sodo. And I got to thinking last night that I could just make a little heart in the same way that I make those. So I made these this morning. And then they really didn't work that well for my project. This is just a heavy piece of wire, and I'm using this wire to make this right here, this little circle right here in the middle, to start my heart. So the way that I do that is I just have a coil of wire here. I can't tell you what size it is. It's fairly thin, and I just take not quite a loop of that. And then what I do, and you can use anything, I just have this piece of wire, just anything that you have that's kind of small. And what I'm going to do is, there's the wire, I'm going to take this wire, I'm going to put it underneath that wire, and I'm just going to pull it around, cross the ends over, and pull it tight, and then slide it off so that I have this little circle right here. Okay, and then you just hold that circle and bend your wire around this way. Then I turn it over, hold the circle again, and actually you're holding a little bit of this wire kind of in place so that when you bend this around, that stays up there to make your heart. Now, depending on how long the brush is in your nail polish, is going to depend on how big your heart is, because your nail polish brush has to fit across there. So once you get your heart the size that you want it, in the shape that you want it, then you just hold both sides, and twist the bottom. And I just twist it all the way down. My husband said, well, why do you make that tail so long? It's just so long so it gives me something to hold on to, gives me something to stick it in the styrofoam to hold it up. And I can always cut it off later, but depending on what I do with it, you can't add as well as you can take off. So now we have this little heart. And then all you do is you take your nail polish and shake it up good. And the one thing that you have to remember is when you take your nail polish brush out of the jar, unlike painting your nails, you take it straight out, don't wipe it on the side. So that's like one of the most important things, because you want as much fingernail polish on that brush as you can have. Well, actually the first time you can wipe it off, because what you do first is just paint around the heart, just paint around the wire. First off, it covers your wire so that you don't have that stark color of the wire on your heart, and it also, I believe, helps make the second set of fingernail polish stick to it. So we've got this. And now all I'm going to do is take my move this back because a lot of times it drips. I'm going to take a full brush of fingernail polish. I'm going to lay it across here and just try and pull it across. And what you're going to do is make a bubble. And it takes a little finesse sometimes. And I think that I chose a bottle that's not very full, so I'm not getting as much on my brush. And you just come across here. Now I do run my, and it's not wanting to make a bubble. This hard part right here, I usually run across this edge of the wire because it does have polish on it, and so it helps keep that polish as one solid piece. But you just start, and you just want to be all the way across, and just come across slowly. Now, when you hit that center circle, you got to try and get over it. Okay, see where it split there? My brush had split, so you have to watch your brush parts. And I'm going to go ahead and leave this the way it is. I'm not going to edit this out because it can take, sometimes you can get it the very first time, and sometimes it takes a while. So I don't want you to try it. See there, I had it almost all the way across and it popped. And there goes a big drip. And I really should have a bottle that's got more fingernail polish in it too. So we're just going to start again. And you're just trying to keep that going all the way across, keeping in contact the whole time. Oh, maybe I need to get a different color polish that's a little fuller. But we're going to just keep at it. I don't want you to think it's this hard every single time that you do it. But I do want you to see that, I mean, I just did all of those this morning. Ah, I almost had it. Pull some of that nail polish off of there. Try and pick that up. See if we can do it with that. You know, I want you to see that even though I've done a whole bunch, there is a knack to it. And yet, even when you have the knack, sometimes, oh, I keep losing it right here. But sometimes you just have to keep at it. Sometimes it could be the polish is too thick, the polish is too thin. Okay, I'm losing it right there because of the way that that circle is bent down. And sometimes you do have to look at it and say, why am I almost making it and then it's not? So I'm trying to keep my heart or my brush pushed against that bottom. This part of the circle right here is a little bit lower, and every time I get there it's separating. So I'm going to turn it over and try it from the other side. We're going to put this on here. And oops, and I'm going through the center, so that's not going to do me any good. So close and yet no cigar. Okay, so I guess the best hint is make sure that you have a pretty full nail polish so that you have a lot of polish on your brush. And there we go. Alright, now what you do is, because you've got spots that are thinner and spots that are thicker, you just kind of let it run around a little bit very carefully. Don't blow on it to dry it, because if you do, you'll pop the bubble. And all I do then is I just kind of let the fingernail polish move around easily. Try and get to spots that seem to be quite thin. And then when you cover this thin spot, there'll be a thin spot over here. So just keep moving it a little bit until it kind of stops moving. It's not dry at that point, but it's starting to set and it kind of stops moving. Once you get to that point, then you can put it in your styrofoam and let it dry. Sometimes I carefully roll it over the other way and just do the same thing. If you put it to dry, a lot of times the nail polish will all run to one spot, and the weight of that nail polish will pop your bubble. So you do just want to kind of try and keep it moving a little bit until you don't see it moving anymore. Now I have and you probably can't see it too well, there is a light spot up here at the top, and there is a light spot over here on the side. And when I move my heart now, those two spots are not filling in, which means that the fingernail polish is not moving anymore. So I'm just going to take it and stick it. Make sure you've got something to stick it into, and let it dry. Excuse me. Okay, so I've got a few more here that I've cut, so we'll do another one, and we'll try a different polish. So just wrap that around anything small. Oh, I got that one kind of too tight. Anything small, so you wind up with a little small circle. And then just hang on to this circle and the wire and bring it around. Flip it over, hang on to the circle and the wire. Pinch it between your first finger and your thumb. Hold it and bring your heart around. And look at it and see if that's kind of how you like it. Make it the shape that you want it. Hold both sides and start twisting. And then just twist your wire all the way to the bottom. Okay, and now we'll try one with a polish that's fuller and see if I have any better luck, because you know how everything goes on camera. But I would prefer that you see that that first one took me a while and it took me a lot of tries, so that you know if you get one like that, or especially when you're starting. And that's why I'm trying to walk through all the different little nuances of it, because you just have to kind of get the hang of it. So first thing, I am going to wipe it off and just kind of brush around the wire. Make sure you have something underneath that you can drip on that's not going to ruin your tabletop, because it is going to drip. Okay, now I'm putting it in there. I'm bringing out straight out, full brush load, putting it across my heart, keeping the brush tip all the way over one edge. And just going slow. If you see some really light spots that are super thin, kind of move your heart around even while you're working to get those light spots to have some nail polish on it. And look at that. See, that one went perfect, and that was a lot because that I had enough nail polish on my brush to really coat that and make that bubble. And then we're just going to keep moving it a little bit. Wherever you see a thin spot, tip it that way to let some nail polish get there. If you wind up with a really thin spot when you're done, after it's dried, you can always go over with the same color nail polish and just put a little more nail polish on it once it's completely dry. But don't touch it until it is dry. If you think, oh, there's a thin spot, I need to add a little, you can't add anything until it's completely dry. Now I'm going to turn it over carefully and hopefully not pop it. I'm going to readjust it. And remember, don't blow on it to dry it. I've done that before. And these hearts are really simple. These hearts are easier than the flowers are, than these flowers, because your only big hurdle is this circle here in the middle, and making sure that you can reach all the way across. With the flowers, you have every spot where they come together. That's a bit of a hurdle, trying to get the nail polish on there and make it all have contact so that it doesn't pop. So if you want to try making these and making the flowers, start with the hearts because they're so much easier. But you could do this with, you could just take your wire and put it in the shape of like a star and just use like pliers to bend a point all the way, you know, different points all the way around, have it be nice and flat, except where you've got it twisted. And so long as it's small enough for your brush to fit completely over. And our nail polish is not moving anymore, so I can go ahead and I can stick this in here. You could even do it, see, I've got this mandrel here. You could even do it just as a circle. Let's say you needed a little circle for some reason. Just go around this mandrel. Just trying to twist a piece of wire and I can't even do that. Okay, get it up there and give it a twist. Okay, give it a couple of twists like that, and then use my pliers close up to the circle and make sure I get it nice and tight right around where that circle is so that I actually have the shape of a circle. See how that looks. Okay, so there's a little circle. Just twist it all the way down to get it out of my way. And okay, you know what? Let's do this in green. And actually you could, and I don't, I don't know if these pliers will pinch. I'm going to try and pinch this and kind of like into the shape of a leaf. If you're making the flowers, you might want some little leaves to go with it. Okay, so we'll say that looks like a leaf. And we'll just take our green, start where the wires come together. Well, and look at that. I'm just coating my outside edge. And look, voila, we have a leaf already. Because that was so close together, and because I started right there where the only place where the wires were crossing each other, because that kind of gives you a gap, because I started right there, and because it was so small across, it just coated it right away. So there we go. Now we have a leaf. But anyways, that's how you do these. I appreciate you all watching. I hope that you enjoyed it, and if you make some, let me know. Thanks for watching, and have an outstanding day. Bye-bye.